First contact, the arrival. The day the sky changed color, Dr. Sarah Chen was elbow-deep in ancient Sumerian tablets, deciphering texts that hadn't been read in millennia. The soft blue glow of her computer screen illuminated her small office at the University of Cambridge, casting shadows on walls lined with books and artifacts from forgotten civilizations. A muffled commotion from the hallway barely registered in Sarah's consciousness as she squinted at a particularly tricky cuneiform symbol. It wasn't until her assistant, Tom, burst through the door, out of breath and wide-eyed, that she looked up from her work. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this," Tom gasped, fumbling with the remote control for the small television in the corner of the office. Sarah blinked, her mind still half lost in ancient Mesopotamia. "Tom, what on earth?" The words died in her throat as the TV flickered to life. Every channel showed the same image, a massive, shimmering object hovering in Earth's orbit. It was like nothing Sarah had ever seen before, a structure that seemed to defy the laws of physics, its surface rippling like liquid metal under the sun's rays. "Is this some kind of hoax?" Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Tom shook his head. "It's real. Every space agency, every observatory, they're all confirming it. We're not alone, Dr. Chen, and they're here." As if on cue, Sarah's phone buzzed with an incoming call. The screen displayed a number she didn't recognize, with a government extension. With trembling fingers, she answered. "Dr. Sarah Chen," a clipped voice asked. "Yes, that's me. This is General Hammond of the United Nations Space Command. Your expertise is required immediately. A car will arrive to collect you in 30 minutes. Pack for an extended stay." Before Sarah could respond, the line went dead. She stared at the phone in disbelief, then back at the TV screen where the alien ship loomed large over the curve of the Earth. "Tom," she said slowly, "I need you to cancel all my classes and appointments for the foreseeable future, and then I need you to help me pack." The next few hours passed in a blur. Sarah found herself whisked away in a sleek black car, then onto a military transport plane. As they flew to an undisclosed location, she was briefed on the situation by stern-faced officials who seemed just as bewildered as she was. The alien ship had appeared without warning, somehow evading all of Earth's early detection systems. Initial attempts at communication had been met with silence, until a single message was broadcast simultaneously to every radio frequency and digital device on the planet. The message, they told Sarah, was in no known human language. It consisted of complex mathematical equations and what appeared to be star charts. And buried within the data was a set of coordinates, pointing not to a major city or military installation, but to a small town in rural Montana. "That's where you come in, Dr. Chen," a silver-haired woman introduced as Dr. Eliza Reyes explained. "We need you to help us decipher their language, to understand why they've chosen this location, and most importantly, to help us communicate our peaceful intentions." Sarah's mind raced. Her specialty was ancient languages, not extraterrestrial ones. But the principles of linguistic analysis, of finding patterns and meaning in the unknown, those were universal. "I'll do my best," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. As the plane began its descent, Sarah peered out the window. The vast expanse of Montana stretched out below, a patchwork of farmland and forests. In the distance, she could see a small cluster of buildings that must be their destination. Millbrook, population 2,500. And there, hovering above the town like an impossible mirage, was a smaller version of the ship they'd seen in orbit. Its surface rippled and shimmered, defying easy description. It was beautiful and terrifying all at once. The plane touched down on a hastily constructed airstrip just outside of town. As Sarah disembarked, she was struck by the surreal quiet. No media circus, no crowds of onlookers. Just a handful of military personnel and a group of civilians who must be local officials, all staring at the sky with a mixture of awe and fear. A tall, imposing man with close-cropped grey hair approached Sarah. "Dr. Chen, I'm General Hammond. Welcome to First Contact. Sarah shook his hand, trying to project a confidence she didn't feel. Thank you, General. What's our next move? Before Hammond could answer, a low hum filled the air. Everyone turned to look at the alien ship. Its surface was changing, parts of it seeming to flow and reshape themselves. With a soft whoosh, an opening appeared in its side, and a ramp extended down to touch the ground. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest. This was it, the moment that would change human history forever. From the shadows of the ship's interior, a figure emerged. Bipedal, but clearly not human. Its body was covered in what looked like iridescent scales, shifting colors as it moved. Its head was elongated, with large, multifaceted eyes that reminded Sarah of a dragonfly's. The alien took a few steps down the ramp, then stopped. It raised one of its forearms, palm outward, in what Sarah hoped was a universal gesture of peace. General Hammond stepped forward, mirroring the gesture. On behalf of the people of Earth, we welcome you, he said, his voice carrying across the tarmac. The alien tilted its head, studying Hammond. Then, to everyone's shock, it spoke. The words were garbled, the intonation all wrong, but they were unmistakably English. Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Zarthax. We come seeking your help. A murmur ran through the assembled group. Sarah's mind whirled. They had learned English. How? And what did they mean they needed our help? The alien continued, its speech becoming clearer with each word, as if it was learning in real time. We have traveled far, across the great void between stars, because legends speak of your kind, of your creativity, your adaptability, your relentless drive to overcome challenges. We face a threat that we cannot defeat alone. Will you hear us? General Hammond glanced at Sarah, who nodded encouragingly. This was beyond anything they had prepared for, but the opportunity was too great to pass up. We will hear you, Hammond said. But first, might we know whom we're addressing? The alien's scales rippled, changing to a deep blue color. I am Zextra, emissary of the Zarthax Collective. And you are? I am General William Hammond of the United Nations Space Command. With me is Dr. Sarah Chen, one of our foremost linguists and cultural experts. Zextra's multifaceted eyes focused on Sarah. She felt a shiver run down her spine, not of fear, but of excitement. This was why she had devoted her life to languages, to understanding the unknown. Dr. Chen, Zextra said, its voice taking on a melodic quality. We have much to discuss. The fate of two worlds may depend on our understanding of each other. Sarah stepped forward, her mind already racing with questions. I look forward to learning from you, Zextra. Perhaps we could start by explaining why you chose this particular location for our meeting. Zextra's scales shifted to a warm golden hue. Ah, yes. We observed your world for some time before making contact. We sought a place that embodied the spirit of humanity, not your centers of power or your mightiest cities, but a place where your kind live in harmony with your world, a place where the everyday ingenuity of humans shines brightest. Sarah looked around at the small town, seeing it with new eyes. The windmills on the distant hills, the solar panels on many roofs, the community garden visible at the edge of town. Simple innovations that might seem unremarkable to humans, but had caught the attention of beings from across the stars. I see, Sarah said, a smile spreading across her face. Well then, Zextra of the Zarthax, welcome to Millbrook. Let's talk about how humanity can help you, and what we might learn from each other in the process. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the Montana plains, Sarah Chen knew that she stood at the dawn of a new era for humanity. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever threats the Zarthax faced, she was certain of one thing: the human spirit, with its boundless creativity and determination, would rise to meet them. The adventure was just beginning, the cosmic chessboard. As the golden Montana sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the dusty streets of Millbrook, Sarah Chen found herself in a situation she'd never imagined possible, sitting across from an alien in the town's only diner, sharing a plate of French fries. Zextra, the Zarfax emissary, regarded the fried potatoes with multifaceted eyes that shimmered like opals in the neon glow of the diner's sign. Its iridescent scales rippled with curiosity as it delicately picked up a fry with one of its 4 hands. Fascinating, Zextra's melodious voice hummed. You humans derive sustenance from such simple organic matter, yet you've elevated it to an art form. Sarah couldn't help but chuckle. Wait until you try them with ketchup. As she watched the alien cautiously dip the fry in the red sauce, Sarah's mind raced. The past 48 hours had been a whirlwind of revelations and paradigm shifts. The threat that had brought the Zarfax across the cosmos was beyond anything humanity had ever faced. The Void Eaters, Zextra had explained earlier, its scales darkening to a deep, somber purple. They consume entire star systems, leaving nothing but cold, empty space in their wake. Our greatest minds, our most advanced technology, nothing has been able to stop them. But why come to us? General Hammond had asked, his brow furrowed with concern. Surely your civilization is far more advanced than ours. Zextra's reply had sent chills down Sarah's spine. Because, General, the Void Eaters fear you. The diner's bell chimed, pulling Sarah back to the present. Tom, her assistant from Cambridge, rushed in, his arms laden with books and tablets. Dr. Chen, I've got those references you asked for on human problem-solving paradigms and… Oh. He stopped short, eyes wide as he took in the sight of the alien calmly eating French fries. Tom, perfect timing, Sarah said, gesturing for him to join them. Zextra, this is my assistant, Tom. He's been helping me compile information that might be relevant to our situation. Zextra's scales shimmered with interest. Greetings, Tom. I look forward to learning from you as well. As Tom hesitantly slid into the booth, still staring at Zextra in awe, Sarah turned back to the alien. You were explaining why the Void Eaters fear humanity. I still don't understand how that's possible. We've barely left our own solar system. Zextra's eyes seemed to focus on something far beyond the diner walls. The universe is vast, Dr. Chen, but it is also old. There are echoes of civilizations long gone, whispers of great deeds and terrible mistakes. And among those whispers, there are legends of a species unlike any other, a species that thrives on challenge, that grows stronger in the face of adversity. The alien's gaze refocused on Sarah, a species that, when faced with the impossible, finds a way to make it possible. Tom, who had been listening intently, spoke up. But that's just us being us. How is that special? Zextra's scales rippled with what Sarah was beginning to recognize as amusement. Young Tom, you cannot imagine how rare that quality is in the cosmos. Most species, when faced with an insurmountable obstacle, simply accept their fate. Humanity looks at the insurmountable and says, let's surmount it anyway. Sarah leaned forward, her mind racing. So you think we can find a way to stop the Void Eaters, even though your own advanced civilization couldn't? We hope, Zextra said softly. We hope that your unique perspective, your relentless drive to overcome, will see something we've missed. A solution hidden in plain sight, perhaps. As if on cue, the diner's ancient television flickered to life. Breaking news flashed across the screen, reports of strange phenomena occurring around the globe. Aurora-like lights appearing in impossible places, gravitational anomalies defying known physics, and most alarmingly, patches of sky where stars were simply disappearing. It's starting, Zextra said, its voice filled with a mix of dread and anticipation. The Void Eaters have found your world. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine, but alongside the fear, she felt something else stirring, a fierce determination. This was humanity's moment, their chance to prove that the legends were true. Well then, she said, meeting Zextra's multifaceted gaze with steely resolve, we'd better get to work. As they left the diner, stepping out into the cool Montana night, Sarah looked up at the star-filled sky. Somewhere up there, an unimaginable threat loomed. But down here, on this small blue planet, humanity was about to show the universe what it was made of. Little did Sarah know, the cosmic chessboard was far more complex than anyone, human or Zarthax, had realized. As the first tendrils of the Void Eater's influence reached Earth, ancient forces stirred in the depths of space, their attention drawn to the unlikely alliance forming on this backwater world. The game was afoot, and the stakes were nothing less than the fate of the entire universe. The Quantum Nexus. The Millbrook High School gymnasium buzzed with an energy unlike anything it had ever seen before. What was once a place for pep rallies and basketball games had been transformed into humanity's last line of defense against an incomprehensible cosmic threat. Sarah Chen stood at the center of it all, surrounded by a dizzying array of hastily assembled technology. Holographic displays flickered with streams of alien data, while jury-rigged supercomputers hummed ominously. The air crackled with an almost tangible sense of urgency. Quantum Entanglement Stabilized called out Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant physicist who had arrived just days ago. Her fingers danced across a console that looked like it had been cobbled together from spare parts and pure willpower. "We're ready for the next test, Dr. Chen." Sarah nodded, her eyes never leaving the central hologram. It displayed a 3D model of what the Zarthax called the Void Sphere, a device that, in theory, could neutralize the Void Eater's reality warping abilities. "All right, people," Sarah called out, her voice carrying across the gymnasium. "This is test number 47. Let's make it count." As the assembled team of scientists, engineers, and even a few gifted high school students held their breath, Sarah activated the Void Sphere prototype. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like reality itself tearing at the seams, a shimmering bubble of something expanded from the device. "Holy quantum fluctuations," whispered Tom, who had become an integral part of the team. "It's working." But even as hope began to surge through the room, alarms blared from every corner. The bubble wavered, then collapsed in on itself with a thunderous implosion that shook the entire building. "Damn it." Sarah slammed her fist on the console. Was still missing something. Zextra, who had been observing silently from the sidelines, stepped forward. Its scales had taken on a deep, pensive blue. "Perhaps," it said slowly, "we are approaching this from the wrong angle." Sarah turned to the alien, frustration etched on her face. "What do you mean? We've tried every possible configuration of quantum fields and subspace harmonics. What else is there?" Zextra's multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer with an inner light. "Dr. Chen, what if the key isn't in the physics, but in the metaphysics?" A hush fell over the gymnasium. Even the computers seemed to quiet down, as if sensing the weight of the moment. "Explain," Sarah said, her voice barely above a whisper. Zextra gestured with all four of its arms, creating a complex pattern in the air. "The Void Eaters exist beyond conventional reality. They are not bound by the laws of physics as we understand them. Perhaps to defeat them, we need to think beyond those laws as well." Dr. Tanaka stepped forward, her eyes wide with realization. "You're talking about consciousness-driven reality manipulation, but that's just theoretical." "Is it?" Zextra countered. "Your own quantum physicists have long speculated about the role of consciousness in collapsing wave functions. And there are legends, whispered across the galaxies, of beings who could shape reality with thought alone." Sarah's mind raced. It was insane, completely outside the realm of established science. But then again, so were the Void Eaters themselves. "Okay," she said slowly, "let's assume you're right. How do we even begin to harness something like that?" It was Tom who spoke up, his voice filled with unexpected conviction. "The internet." All eyes turned to him, and he flushed but continued. "Think about it. The internet connects billions of human minds. It's like a global consciousness. If we could somehow tap into that, channel it through the void sphere. We could create a reality warping field powered by the collective will of humanity, Sarah finished, her eyes lighting up with excitement. The room erupted into a flurry of activity. Ideas flew back and forth, impossibilities became possibilities, and the air hummed with renewed hope. As the team worked feverishly to reconfigure the void sphere, integrating it with hastily repurposed social media algorithms and experimental neural interfaces, Sarah felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to find General Hammond, his face grim. "Dr. Chen," he said quietly, "we're out of time. The Void Eaters have breached the outer solar system. At their current speed, they'll reach Earth in less than 24 hours. Sarah's heart raced, but she forced herself to remain calm. "Understood, General. We'll be ready." As she turned back to the chaos of the gymnasium, now more than ever resembling the bridge of some impossible starship, Sarah caught Zexetra's eye. The alien gave her what she could only interpret as a nod of encouragement. "All right, everyone," Sarah called out, her voice cutting through the noise. "This is it. The final countdown begins now. Let's show these Void Eaters what happens when you mess with humanity." As the team redoubled their efforts, pushing the boundaries of science and consciousness itself, none of them noticed the strange, shimmering distortion that had appeared in the corner of the gymnasium. If they had, they might have seen the outline of an impossibly ancient being, watching the proceedings with great interest. The cosmic chessboard was shifting once again. Humanity was about to make its move, and the entire universe held its breath in anticipation. The quantum confluence. The sky above Millbrook had become a kaleidoscope of impossible colors, reality itself seeming to warp and bend as the Void Eaters drew ever closer. In the high school gymnasium, now dubbed humanity's last stand, a palpable tension hung in the air like static electricity. Sarah Chen stood at the epicenter of organized chaos, her eyes darting between holographic displays and the newly christened Nexus Sphere, their last desperate hope against cosmic obliteration. "Global network integration at 97%, Tom called out, his fingers flying across a keyboard that looked more alien than human. "We're almost there." Dr. Tanaka's voice cut through the din. "Quantum harmonics stabilizing. The consciousness wave is building." Sarah took a deep breath, steeling herself for what came next. "All right, everyone, this is it. The moment humanity stands united against the impossible. Zextra, are you ready?" The Zarthax emissary stepped forward, its scales shimmering with a mix of anticipation and something akin to pride. "I am prepared, Dr. Chen. It has been an honor to witness the indomitable spirit of your species." As Zextra placed its 4 hands on the designated interface points of the Nexus Sphere, Sarah turned to address the assembled team, a motley crew of scientists, engineers, hackers, and even a few gifted teenagers who had proven invaluable in understanding the nuances of global social media integration. "In a few moments, we're going to activate the Nexus Sphere," Sarah explained, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "When we do, it will send out a signal, a call to arms, if you will, to every connected device on the planet. We're asking humanity to do the impossible, to believe, collectively and without doubt, in our ability to reshape reality itself." She paused, looking each team member in the eye. "I know it sounds crazy. Hell, a week ago I would have laughed at the very idea, but we've seen the impossible already. We've met beings from across the stars. We've witnessed the fabric of our universe being torn apart. Now it's time to stitch it back together, with the power of human will." A cheer went up from the team, a defiant roar in the face of cosmic annihilation. Sarah allowed herself a small smile before turning back to the central console. "Tom, initiate the global broadcast." With a few keystrokes, Tom sent that carefully crafted message to every screen, every speaker, every connected device on Earth. In homes and offices, on city streets, and in remote villages, billions of humans suddenly found themselves united by a single urgent plea. "People of Earth, this is not a drill. An unimaginable threat looms on the horizon, poised to unravel the very fabric of our reality. But we have a chance, one chance, to stop it. In exactly 10 minutes, we ask you to do something that may seem impossible. Believe. Believe with every fiber of your being that we can reshape our world, that we can stand against the darkness. Visualize a shield of pure thought surrounding our planet. See it in your mind's eye, feel it in your heart. For in this moment, your belief, your will, your very consciousness will become our last line of defense. Humanity has always achieved the impossible when we stand together. Now, we must stand as one, or fall into oblivion. As the message played out across the globe, Sarah turned to Zextra. Now, we wait. The minutes ticked by with agonizing slowness. On screens around the gymnasium, they watched as social media exploded with reactions. Some scoffed, calling it a hoax. Others embraced the call with fervent belief. Debates raged, memes spread like wildfire, and through it all, a sense of unity began to build. 1 minute to global synchronization, Dr. Tanaka announced, her voice tense. Sarah closed her eyes, reaching out with her mind, trying to feel the collective consciousness of humanity. At first, there was nothing but the usual background noise of billions of individual thoughts and emotions. But then, slowly, she felt something change. It started as a whisper, a faint hum at the edge of perception, but with each passing second, it grew stronger. Billions of minds, focusing on a single thought, a single belief. We will survive. 30 seconds. The hum became a roar, a tidal wave of human will crushing against the shores of impossibility. 15 seconds. Sarah opened her eyes, meeting Zextra's multifaceted gaze. The alien nodded, its scales pulsing with energy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Zextra activated the Nexus sphere, and for a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like 1,000 thunderclaps rolled into one, a pulse of pure energy erupted from the device. It swept through the gymnasium, through Millbrook, across the entire planet and beyond. The holographic displays went wild, showing impossible readings as reality itself seemed to buckle and reshape around them. Through the gymnasium windows, they watched in awe as a shimmering, iridescent barrier materialized in the sky, expanding outward at impossible speeds. "It's working," Tom shouted, his voice filled with disbelief and joy. "The quantum shield is forming." But even as hope surged through the room, a new alarm blared. Dr. Tanaka's face went pale as she read the incoming data. The Void Eaters, they're accelerating. They'll reach the shield in less than a minute. Sarah's heart raced. Would the hastily constructed defense be enough? Had they truly harnessed the power of human consciousness, or had they simply delayed the inevitable? As the team watched in tense silence, the first tendrils of the Void Eaters, writhing masses of unreality that hurt the eyes to look at, made contact with the quantum shield. For a moment that felt like an eternity, nothing happened. Then, with a sound that defied description, the shield flared with blinding light. The Void Eaters recoiled, their impossible forms seeming to unravel at the edges. "It's holding," Dr. Tanaka cried out. "The shield is actually pushing them back." A cheer went up from the team, but Sarah kept her eyes fixed on the readings. Something was happening, something beyond their calculations or expectations. As the Void Eaters pressed against the shield, tendrils of energy began to flow both ways. It was as if the barrier wasn't just defending Earth, but actively reaching out, trying to communicate with the cosmic horrors. And then, in a flash of insight that felt like it came from beyond herself, Sarah understood. "It's not just a shield," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. "It's a bridge." As the team watched in stunned silence, the Void Eaters began to change. Their chaotic, reality-devouring forms slowly restructured, taking on shapes that were almost beautiful. Zextra's voice was filled with wonder. "You've done it, Dr. Chen. You found a way to communicate with them, to show them another way of existing." Sarah shook her head, a smile of disbelief on her face. No, Zextra. We did it. All of us. Humanity, the Zarthax, and now whatever the Void Eaters are becoming. As the transformed entities began to pulse with new, vibrant energy, Sarah realized that this wasn't just a victory for Earth or even their galaxy. This was the dawn of a new era for the entire universe. And humanity, with its relentless creativity and indomitable spirit, had been the key all along. The cosmic renaissance. The gymnasium of Millbrook High School, once a bastion of last-minute resistance, now hummed with an energy unlike anything Earth had ever known. Holographic displays flickered with streams of data that defied conventional physics, while the Nexus sphere pulsed with a soft, otherworldly glow. Sarah Chen stood at the center of it all, her eyes wide with wonder as she watched the impossible unfold before her. The transformed Void Eaters, now shimmering beings of pure energy and possibility, danced across the sky in patterns that seemed to rewrite the very fabric of reality. "It's beautiful," Tom whispered, his voice filled with awe. Dr. Tanaka nodded, her usual scientific stoicism replaced by childlike wonder. "We're witnessing the birth of a new form of existence. The data we're collecting, it's redefining everything we thought we knew about the universe." Zextra, the Zarthax emissary, stepped forward, its scales rippling with a kaleidoscope of emotions. "Dr. Chen," it said, its melodious voice filled with reverence, "your species has achieved what countless civilizations across the cosmos believed to be impossible. You haven't just saved your world, or even our galaxy. You've opened a door to a new era of cosmic evolution." Sarah felt a warmth spread through her chest, a profound sense of pride in humanity's accomplishment. But as she looked around at the assembled team, humans and aliens working side by side, she knew that this victory belonged to all of them. "We did this together," she said, her voice steady and clear. Humanity's creativity and determination, Zarthak's wisdom and technology, and now, whatever the Void Eaters have become, this is just the beginning. As if in response to her words, a new alarm sounded, but this one was different from the urgent, fearful tones they'd grown accustomed to. This was a chime of discovery, of new frontiers opening up. Guys," Tom called out, his fingers flying across his keyboard. "You might want to see this. We're getting signals from everywhere." The main holographic display shifted, showing a map of the galaxy. Pinpoints of light began to appear, each one representing a civilization that had, until now, been hidden from view. The quantum resonance from the Nexus sphere, Dr. Tanaka breathed, her eyes wide. It must have activated some kind of cosmic switchboard, with picking up transmissions from thousands of worlds. Sarah felt her head spin with the implications. "Are you saying we've just made first contact with the entire galaxy?" Zextra's multifaceted eyes seemed to sparkle with excitement. "Not just the galaxy, Dr. Chen. Look." The display zoomed out, revealing more and more points of light. The Andromeda galaxy came into view, teeming with signals. Then another galaxy and another. "By the cosmic web," Zextra whispered, "we've connected the entire local group of galaxies." As the team watched in stunned silence, the first translated messages began to scroll across the screen. Greetings from civilizations beyond imagination, expressions of awe at the sudden connection, and countless offers of friendship and exchange of knowledge. But it was a message from much closer to home that caught Sarah's attention, a transmission from the transformed Void Eaters themselves. "Creators of the bridge, weavers of consciousness, we thank you. For eons we wandered the void, consuming all in our path, never understanding the hunger that drove us. You have shown us another way. A way of connection, of growth, of infinite possibility. We offer ourselves as allies in this new cosmic awakening." Sarah felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. This was beyond anything she could have imagined when she first stepped into that small-town diner with Zextra, sharing French fries and contemplating the fate of the world. "So," she said, turning to face the assembled team, her voice filled with emotion and excitement, "what do we do now?" It was General Hammond who spoke up, a smile tugging at the corners of his usually stern mouth. "Now, Dr. Chen, now we take our place among the stars." As if on cue, a new message flashed across the screen. This one was from the United Nations, announcing the formation of a new department, the Office of Cosmic Affairs, and at the top of the message was a name that made Sarah's heart skip a beat. "Dr. Sarah Chen, we formally request your leadership in this unprecedented endeavor." Sarah looked around at her team, at Tom, whose quick thinking had helped save the world, at Dr. Tanaka, whose brilliant mind had pushed the boundaries of science, at Zexetra, whose trust in humanity had started it all, and at the countless others who had come together in Earth's darkest hour. "Well," she said, a grin spreading across her face, "I think we're going to need a bigger office." Laughter filled the gymnasium, a joyous sound that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of the universe. As Sarah looked out the window at the transformed sky, where the dance of cosmic energies painted new constellations, she felt a profound sense of anticipation. The age of isolation was over. The cosmic renaissance had begun, and humanity, with its indomitable spirit and boundless creativity, was ready to take its first steps into a universe more vast and wonderful than they had ever dreamed. As the team began to plan for the incredible journey ahead, none of them noticed the shimmering figure that had appeared in the corner of the gymnasium. An ancient being of pure energy, watching the proceedings with what could only be described as a cosmic smile. The game was over, the observers mused, and yet, in many ways, it had only just begun. The cosmic chessboard had been reset, the pieces rearranged into a configuration of infinite possibility. And at the center of it all stood humanity, small, young, but burning with a potential that would reshape the very foundations of existence. The universe, it seemed, would never be the same again.